Some stories are whispered at midnight, some are passed down in hushed tones, and some are buried deep. These aren't legends. These aren't made-up tales. These are 5 terrifying, true horror stories. Unexplainable, unforgettable, and all too real. Lock your doors. Check your mirrors. Let's begin.
I bought the house because it was cheap and old. 1923, full of creaky charm. The kind of place that smells like dust and forgotten things. I thought renovating it alone would be empowering. Instead, it made me feel watched. The noises started around week 3, soft dragging beneath the floorboards. Not mice, not plumbing. It sounded human. One night, I was sanding cabinets when I heard it again, closer this time, like something heavy being pulled across concrete. I froze. The sound stopped. The basement had always given me a weird feeling, but I forced myself down there with a flashlight and crowbar. I tapped along the wall, listening for hollow spots. One section of the floor near the back felt wrong, like the cement had been poured in a hurry. It took 3 hours to chip it up. Underneath, I found a metal hatch. No handle, just rust and old bolts. When I pried it open, the smell hit me first. Damp, like wet newspaper and iron. The tunnel wasn't even 5 feet tall. Crumbling brick walls, bare dirt floor, and trash. Old wrappers, cigarette butts, Polaroids of my house from angles I'd never seen. One showed my bedroom window from outside. I followed the tunnel about 20 feet before it ended, abruptly, just collapsed dirt. I turned back quickly, every hair on my body standing straight. I sealed the hatch and poured fresh concrete over it. I didn't sleep that night. 2 days later, I came home from work and saw dust in the air. The basement door was ajar. When I went down, the concrete I'd poured was gone. Just gone. Like it had never been there. Someone, or something, had cleaned the space and resealed it. But before they did, they scratched something into the wet cement. My name. Carved in jagged letters, followed by a date. Tomorrow's date. I haven't gone back downstairs. I don't know if I'll be alive too. But last night, I heard the dragging sound again. This time, it wasn't under the floorboards. It was in the hallway. Right outside my door.
I still remember the last time I saw Tyler. He revved that stupid bike of his, flipped me off with a grin and yelled, "Try not to miss me too much!" That night, he hit a deer on Route 4. He died instantly. Closed casket. The kind of thing that doesn't feel real until you hear your best friends laugh in your head and realize it's already a memory. We were like brothers. Played the same games, crushed on the same girls, drank the same crap beer on the same sagging couch, so yeah, I couldn't delete his number. 3 weeks after the funeral, I got a text from his number. Just a photo. No words. At first, I thought someone was messing with me, but the picture, it was of me, lying in bed. It was dark, grainy, and tilted at an angle like it had been taken from the crack of my bedroom door. I sat there, phone in my hand, heart racing. I checked the locks, checked the closets. Nothing. Then I texted back. Not funny. Who is this? No answer. Just another photo. 30 minutes later, this time closer. From inside the room, my sleeping body turned slightly toward the camera. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept the lights on, sat up in a chair with a baseball bat, waiting. Nothing. The next day, I went to the police. They shrugged. "Could be a sick prank," they said. I changed the locks, got security cameras. I didn't tell anyone. Not my girlfriend, not my family. It felt too insane to say out loud, but the photos kept coming. Every few nights. Always while I was asleep. Always a little closer. In one, the corner of my blanket was being pulled down. In another, my eyes were half open. Then one night, I woke up to the sound of my phone vibrating. It was 3:12 a.m. Another photo. This one sent in real time. Me, sitting up in bed, just like I was. I stared at the image, and it hit me. There was something behind me. A silhouette. Shoulders hunched, head tilted, like someone crouched inches from the back of my neck. I spun around, swinging. No one there. But the window was open. Just a crack. I moved out the next morning. Didn't pack, didn't tell anyone, just left. Rented a short-term studio in another city. New number, new phone. 2 weeks of silence. I almost convinced myself I was free. Last night, I got an email. No subject, no message body, just an attachment. A video file. It was my new apartment, my new bed, me, sleeping. And just before the clip ended, the camera panned slowly, deliberately, toward the closet. There was a sound, a whisper, right before it cut to black. I played it back 10 times, boosted the volume. I know that voice. It was Tyler. He said, "Miss me yet?" I don't know what's worse, that someone's tormenting me using my best friend's memory, or that it is him. And that he's not finished. After the accident, people kept telling me I was lucky. They said it was a miracle I walked away with just a concussion and some cracked ribs. I remember the metal screaming, the glass exploding. Then, black, a hole in time. When I woke up in the hospital, things felt wrong. Familiar, but off. The first time I noticed the mirror thing, I was brushing my teeth. I blinked and my reflection didn't. I stared at it, toothbrush frozen, mid-air. Then it blinked, just a beat too late. I told myself it was the painkillers, or stress, or the shitty fluorescent lighting. But it didn't stop. Some days it was fine. Other times I'd catch it lagging again, blinking late, turning its head just after I did, or freezing entirely while I moved. Then came the smile. It happened in the bathroom mirror one night, 2 weeks after I came home. I leaned in, exhausted, studying the bruise still fading across my jaw. My reflection smiled. I didn't. I stepped back, hard, knocked a bottle into the sink. My reflection stood still grinning. Then, like nothing happened, it snapped back into sync with me, expressionless. I told Lena, my fiancée, but she just frowned. "You hit your head, baby. You've been through trauma." Yeah, trauma.
Sure. Except I started catching glimpses in other mirrors, hallway ones, storefront windows. My reflection would twitch or move before I did, like it was waiting for me to catch up. Then, a week ago, I woke up to a soft creak in the hallway. I got up and found Lena's door cracked open. We've been sleeping apart since the crash. I still have night terrors. She was sound asleep. I was about to close the door when I noticed something. Her floor-length mirror, the one at the foot of her bed, showed someone standing over her. Me. But I was in the hallway. I ran into the room. Nothing there. The mirror showed just Lena, no one else. I checked every lock, every window. Then I turned all the mirrors toward the wall. But the next morning, they were all facing forward again. Every single one. Last night, I set up my phone to record while I slept, just to prove I wasn't losing my mind. At 3:47 a.m., there's movement. A figure steps into frame. Me. But I don't move in bed. The version of me stands at the edge of the frame, watching me. Then it turns and walks toward Lena's room. I haven't shown her the video. I don't know how to explain it. But the worst part, this morning, I found a note taped to my mirror. It was written in my handwriting, but I never wrote it. 4 words, scrawled in black marker. Let me take over. I haven't looked in a mirror since. I brush my teeth in the dark. I avoid reflections like they can bite, because I think it's getting stronger, more confident. And tonight, when I passed the hallway mirror, I swear I saw it watching me walk away. But it didn't follow. It just stayed there, smiling.
I found the radio at a garage sale just off campus. $10 for a dusty old shortwave with a cracked dial and cigarette burns on the handle. The guy selling it didn't say a word, just took my money and nodded like he was relieved. I should have known right then. At first it didn't even work, just static and the occasional burst of weather reports. But I kept it on my desk because I liked the way it looked. Vintage, haunted. Then one night around 2 a.m., it came to life. No knobs turned, no buttons pressed. The dial slid on its own and landed on a frequency with no call letters. Just a voice. A calm, male voice. Monotone. Measured. You left the window open again, Claire. That stopped me cold. My name isn't common, and yes, the window was open. Cracked, just an inch. I turned the radio off, unplugged it, left it off the whole next day. That night, same thing. Around 2:04 a.m., the power indicator blinked on. You cried this morning, in the library. You didn't want anyone to see. It was true. I had a panic attack between classes in one of the back aisles behind the stacks. No one saw. No one could have seen. I unplugged it again. Even took out the batteries. Still, it came on the next night. You're worried people would leave if they knew how lonely you really are. That's when the fear turned personal. I shoved the thing in my closet under a pile of clothes. Didn't matter. The voice kept finding me. Always calm, always right. Like it was reading me. It never responded to questions, never acknowledged I was listening. Until night 6. I was lying in bed, every light off, trying not to breathe too loud. Then it said, "Why do you keep looking at the closet?" I sat up slowly. I hadn't even realized I'd been glancing toward it all night. "There's nothing in there." A pause. "Yet?" I left my apartment and slept in my car. The next day, I smashed the radio with a hammer, just completely obliterated it. Felt stupid doing it, but also relieved. Until last night. No radio, no electronics, just me in bed with a fan running. Around 2 a.m., the fan flickered off. I sat up, and that voice, the same voice, came from somewhere behind me. Not from a speaker, not from any device, just the room. Like the air itself was speaking. "There's something behind the curtain." I refused to look. I told myself it was a hallucination, maybe trauma from the stress. But then I heard the curtain. My bedroom curtain brush softly against the wall. I sat there until sunrise. Didn't move. Didn't blink. This morning I checked. There was nothing behind the curtain, just the open window. But on my desk where the radio used to sit, there was something new. A small scrap of paper. Yellowed. Burnt edges. On it, handwritten in ink that looked smeared by something wet. "You hear me better without wires now."
We weren't looking for anything but a place to build a shed. That was the whole plan. Tear up a patch of the backyard, pour some concrete, and finally get all our junk out of the garage. Just a weekend project. Simple. The first strange thing we hit wasn't a bone. It was a small, rusted cross, half buried, bent where the earth had settled around it. My daughter, Lily, found it while playing in the dirt beside us. She held it like it was important, like it belonged to her. "She likes it," she said, without explaining who she was. We laughed it off, but then the digging stopped being funny. Just under 2 feet of soil, we hit something that didn't look like rock. I scraped around it. It was a jawbone. Not an animal. Human. We stopped immediately and called the police. They showed up fast, taped off the yard, asked questions we didn't have answers to. An anthropologist came out, said the bones were old. Decades, maybe more. Then they found the necklace. It was corroded, the metal chain fused with rust and dirt. But the pendant, it was a small birthstone, pale green. Peridot. August. Lily's birth month. I felt something tighten in my chest when they handed it to me in a plastic evidence bag. Lily just stared at it. That was mine. I remember. We didn't sleep much that night. Lily kept getting out of bed, wandering the hallway. I finally locked her door for her own safety. But around 3 a.m., I woke to a cold breeze. The back door was open. Lily was outside. In the yard, barefoot, in her nightgown, kneeling beside the taped-off pit. I called out to her. She didn't react, just kept whispering something into the hole. I ran to her, heart hammering. As I got closer, I heard her voice, soft, not like herself.
forgot me. You said you'd come back. I waited and waited. I grabbed her and shook her gently. She blinked like she'd just woken up, looked at me like I was a stranger. "What are we doing out here?" she asked, genuinely confused. The next day, she didn't remember any of it, not the dream, not the necklace, nothing. But she kept humming a tune I'd never heard before, low, off-key, sad. I confronted the police about what they found. They didn't say much, just that the remains were female, around 10 years old, buried at least 50 years ago. No missing persons case on file that matched. That night, Lily cried in her sleep. I went in to comfort her and froze. She wasn't in bed. She was standing in the corner, facing the wall, her hands clasped like she was praying. "Lily?" I whispered. She turned slowly and smiled, but it wasn't her smile. Too wide, too old. "I forgive you, but I can't stay gone anymore." I backed out of the room. She followed, humming again. We burned the necklace the next morning. The ash turned black and oily like it didn't want to go. Since then, the yard's been quiet. Lily sleeps through the night. No more humming, no more wandering. But sometimes when it rains, the soil in that spot sinks down just a little, like something beneath is breathing. And 3 nights ago, Lily came into our room and climbed into bed with us. I asked if she had a bad dream. She shook her head. She's just lonely again. She says, "It's your turn now." I'm writing this from the couch, facing the back door, watching the yard. I don't sleep much anymore, because I think whatever we dug up, we didn't just wake it up. We freed it. And now, it's waiting.
5 stories, no explanations, no peace. Maybe you believe them, maybe you don't. But the people who lived them, they're still looking over their shoulders, still avoiding the mirror, still hearing voices through walls and wires. If you made it to the end, thanks for keeping the lights off with me tonight. Sleep tight.